Today we are seeing what happens when we take an AI and feed it the worst verses in the Bible. Basically, there's this AI generator that you put in some text, and then it comes up with what it should come out, what should follow, like what should come next. And I'll give you an example. But we're going to see what happens when you put the absolute worst verses in the Bible. We're going to see what the AI generates, what the AI does with this information. We've got a lot of crazy things like, bears devouring children, smashing children on rocks, and we have incest and murder and all kinds of fun things. So I'm being sarcastic. There's a lot of terrible things in here, but what I'm curious to see is if the AI comes up with something worse or if it's not as bad, or we'll see, whatever happens. Also, there's some fun things you can do too, where you can tell it that it has to include certain words. So we're going to probably have fun with that. See what happens when you throw maybe a dragon or robots or something in there. I don't know. We'll see. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to see what happens. Answer the question, what happens when the AI writes the Bible and we put in some of the worst verses. So let's bring up our AI program. And this is, let me bring it up here. And I'll also be asking the chat to be providing verses and ideas to put in this as well. So if you have some very terrible Bible verses, which there are tons of them, that you would like to see what the AI does with it, definitely let me know in the chat. But let me give you an example. This is the AI chat, or the AI generator. So I'll just give you an example. We'll do something random. Let's see. Jesus. So I can just give you an example of what this is if you haven't seen it. Jesus was walking down the road and saw Judas, who said, all right, so Jesus was walking down the road and saw Judas, who said, "Where is your brother?" And Jesus says, "I don't know." There was some disagreement about who was the betrayer at this point. And then Jesus says, "How can you ask me about a man I have never seen?" This is the point where Judas says he's going to betray Jesus. Then Jesus told Judas, "You will be the one to betray me." Anyway, this wasn't the last of Jesus's encounter with Judas. So you can see that you basically just enter in information and this a sentence or whatever, and the AI will try and figure out or predict what to continue it. It will attempt to continue it. So let's see what we're going to do. I think a story we should start out with is one where God commands a bunch of bears to eat children, and see where this goes. So basically what happens, we're going to read this verse, and this is, hold on. Okay, so we're going to read this verse, which is 2 Kings 24, I believe, something like that. I don't know. 2 Kings 2:24. So this is a story. It says, "From there, Elisha went up to Bethel," and Elisha is one of God's prophets. So Elisha went to Bethel, and he was walking along the road. Some boys came out of the town and jeered at him. "Get out of here, Baldy," they said. "Get out of here, Baldy." He turned around, looked at them, and called down a curse on them in the name of the Lord. Then 2 bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys. So here we have one of God's prophets having bears devour 42 kids for telling him that he had a bald head. So yeah, that's great. So let's see. Let's see what the AI does with this. I'm curious. So from there, Elisha went, let's see. Yeah, let's just put the whole thing in and see what happens. So he turned around, looked at them, and called down a curse on them in the name of the Lord. Let's increase the length here. Let's do 400 words. Then 2 bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys. Elisha's remarkable non-biblical life. The fact that his hair wasn't short doesn't really seem much to matter. So let's move on to some more useful details, or unusual details. There's Elisha's 5 daughters, especially his firstborn girl. Elisha's hair had turned white, and Elijah asked his servant Gehazi to ask Elisha's wife about it. So Elisha's wife said that she had cursed the one who had cursed her. So Elijah asked her to put up 7 sprigs of honeysuckle bush in her husband's beard to turn it white. Keziah did this and it worked, and Elisha's hair became white again. So she repeated it again, and it again worked. Gehazi called all the Israelite men into the house. He tied the 7 sprigs in 7 bundles and wrapped them in 7 rugs. He then made them into 7 tablets and put them before Elisha. Each of the 7 tablets had a curse on it. The priests and elders of the Israelites went before Elisha, and each of them took one of the tablets and put it in his cloak. But Elisha was with his mother at his house. The men were furious, cursing him. Elisha said to them, "Will a curse make them clean?" The elders answered him, "Why not?" But Elisha told them, "No, the Spirit of the Lord will." Okay, let's end this there. I'm getting like wrapped up in this story. I want to know what happens. What's really funny about this is this totally seems, this seems like a verse. This seems like, this doesn't seem, you know what? If I read this in the Bible, I wouldn't think, it wouldn't seem out of place. This seems something like, it seems like the absurdity of this AI generator flows perfectly with the biblical narrative. You know what we'll do here? Let's throw in, let's try this story again, okay? I'm curious about this. I like that it titled it too. It gave it a title. Elisha's Remarkable Non-Biblical Life. Let's do this. So we can make this AI generator have to include certain words, or at least try to include certain words. I've never done this before, but let's try it. So I want you in the chat, because we are live. I want you in the chat. Tell me some of the words, some words. Give me some words that we could include. It could be anything. It could be dragon. It could be robot. It could be Elon Musk. It could be, you know, it doesn't matter. Just give me some words and we'll try and put it in. By the way, I forgot that I want to shut down the Facebook stream. So let me just shut that down real quick. Put those words in the chat in the meantime while I do that. Okay, Facebook stream ended. Good. And okay, so boy emoji says toilet, Zina says cheesecake, and Paradoxical says banana. Those are the first 3 that I saw, so let's do it. Toilet, cheesecake, and banana. So let's do toilet, cheesecake, and banana. Let's do this. So let's see what happens now. Same story, same thing. We're going to start from the same place, but now the AI has to try to include these words. So they told him, "Get out of here, Baldy." He turned around, looked at them, and called down a curse upon them in the name of the Lord. Then 2 bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys. From a report by William Wilberforce in what seems to be his first article ever printed in the Independent, 1821. Oh my God, this is not. Okay, this is not. All right, all right, I don't know what. That had nothing to do with anything. Let me make. Because sometimes it pulls stuff from blogs. So let me say that this has to be fiction. So let me try one more time. So then 2 boys came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys. And Elisha was left alone. The last night, however, the cheesecake proved a little more deadly. Perhaps the reason the cheesecake appeared was that the local cheesecake makers sent their batch ahead of them, and this had spoiled. I have to admit that I don't know which was worse, the cheesecake or the bears. Why are you so stubborn? In a strange way, my stubbornness and my stubbornness about my stubbornness came back to me in these old stories. A stubborn man lives a life of delusion, of believing his stubbornness is justified. From my own experiences, however, I know that my stubbornness are not justified. You want God to be the one in charge. A human being is not. Okay, I don't know where it went off with that, but all right, so it got cheesecake in there. Excellent. I think that was quite good. Let's go for another verse here. Let's get rid of toilet, cheesecake, and banana. If in chat you have verses to suggest, let me know. Give me some verses. Let's why don't we take a look at someone says Exodus 11:5. What is that one? What is Exodus 11:5? Star Ruby said that. What is that? Let's see what that is, and maybe we'll put it in. No valid results. What do you mean? No valid results. 11. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is a good one. This is a good one. All right, let's try this one. So Moses says, "This is what the Lord says. About midnight, I will go through Egypt. Every firstborn son in Egypt will die, from the firstborn son of Pharaoh, who sits on the throne, to the firstborn son of the female slave, who is at her handmill, and all the firstborn of the cattle as well. There will be loud wailing throughout Egypt, worse than there ever has been or ever will be again." Think about how crazy this is, too. Everyone's like, oh, the Bible's so great. It's so awesome. No, here you have God killing innocent children and babies, and even of the animals who did nothing wrong at all. So much for being pro-life. Yeah, so disgusting. But let's see. Now, I'm really curious, because this is a pretty bad verse. I'm curious if the AI generator will be worse or if it will be better. Where should we start it off here? Let's do it. The Lord said about... So how about just every firstborn son in Egypt will die, from the firstborn son of Pharaoh who sits on the throne to the firstborn son of the female slave who is at her handmill, and all the firstborn of the cattle as well. There will be loud wailing throughout Egypt, worse than there has ever been or ever will be again. And I also want to just preemptively say, do not hold me responsible for what this AI generator says. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's very violent or very sexual or very racist. So keep that in mind. Don't blame me for whatever this does. So let's try this. So every firstborn son in Egypt will die, from the firstborn son of Pharaoh who sits on the throne to the firstborn son of the female slave. There will be loud wailing throughout Egypt, worse than there ever has been or ever will be again. If you put away your gold and silver from your father's house, you will be able to maintain your firstborn son in your land. But if you break your word in your speech to the king, you will be able to maintain your firstborn son. I'm laughing because this is like pretty accurate of something that would be in the Bible. All the firstborn of the cattle, of the mules and the asses, and of all the firstborn of all the crops, and of all the firstborn of the harvest, even all the firstborn of the fruit trees of Egypt, the wild fig, the fruit tree of the mules and the asses, and of all the fruits of the crops, for all the firstborn are in Egypt, all the firstborn of the cattle, and all the firstborn of the mules and asses in Egypt. They're really obsessed with the donkeys. Even for the firstborn of the cows, and for all the cattle that are in the desert, and all the firstborn of the cattle of the little farms, the small farm. Okay, I get the point. It wants to kill all the firstborn of everything that there is, even fruit trees. But what really is funny about this is that it totally seems like, because basically it said that all the firstborn are going to die, right? That's the Bible verse. And then the AI continues, if you put away your gold and silver from your father's house, you will be able to maintain your firstborn son in your land. But if you break your word in your speech to the king, you will be able to maintain your firstborn son. So basically the AI is saying, well, like if you put away your gold and silver, your firstborn won't die. Which sounds crazy, right? But in the Bible, what happens is what is it? That they take the blood of a lamb, and if they put the blood of the lamb on their door, then their child won't die. And that's where you get Passover. If you guys know the Jewish holiday of Passover, that's where this comes from, because they put the blood of the lamb over their door, and then the Spirit of God passed over them and didn't kill their firstborn. So what really is kind of incredible to me is that this is pretty, like, again, if this were just in the Bible, it would seem totally not out of place. So let's see, does anyone else have any more verses? Give me some verses in the chat. Give me some verses in chat and we'll look them up. Just start with Genesis 1. I suppose we could just start with Genesis 1. What's Leviticus 20? Okay, so there's a couple of them here. Let's see what you guys are suggesting. Let's see what this is. Leviticus. Oof. I mean, that is. Oh, that is a bad verse. So this verse is, if a man has sex with a woman during her period, he has exposed the source of her flow, and she has also uncovered it. Both of them are to be cut off from their people. Isn't that fucked up? There's so many fucked up verses in the Bible, and basically saying that if you have sex with someone during her period, that they're to be cut off from society. How fucked up. I mean, people are like, oh, it's such a good book of morals. Meanwhile, you have children being mauled to death by bears, the firstborn children being killed, and cutting people off for having sex on their... you wonder where all the misogyny and patriarchy and violence and bullshit comes from. Well, it comes from this fucking thing. I don't know if I want to... That is just... It's so... I don't know if I don't want to put that one in the generator though. It's a horrible verse, but it's so bad that it makes me angry, and I don't even want. It's a good. Thank you for that suggestion, because that's a terrible verse, and I want people to know about these shitty verses. But I don't want to. Makes me wonder if it's mistranslated. Probably not. That is just the tip of the iceberg. You have no idea how much insanity is in this book. People think that, oh, it's just a book full of like, love thy neighbor as yourself. Nope. Remember that one about, someone who cut off the foreskin of her kid's penis and threw it at the sun, at the feet of, was it Moses? One of the prophets, and like God blessed her for that, or didn't kill him. God was going to kill him, but spared him because his wife did that, or something. This book is crazy. All right, it's insane. So I guess we could just try Genesis 1. Let's just do Genesis 1, but continue to suggest verses in the, because you guys always come up with some big ones. What's the verse where God commands, or they have children being dashed on the rocks? What is that verse? So I don't know if Genesis 1 is going to be too interesting. You know what? Yeah, Genesis 6:4 has giants. Yep. So let's just do, okay, you know what we'll do? We'll do Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now let's start with that, but give me some words. Give me 3 words that the AI has to include. And we'll see what it comes up with. So we're going to start with just, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Balloon. I see balloon. That's a good one. Leprechaun and bikers. Oh, there's some good ones. Let's do, oh, I see. Let's do cat and alien. All right, let's do that. So what balloon, cat, and alien. Balloon. Let's just do it regular first, without those words, and then we'll try it with the words. So let's just try it without those words first. But let's see what it says. Just, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And I think this is a good start, because we want to know. We're saying what would happen if the AI wrote the Bible, and if you just start with this, you're kind of starting from the beginning. So this would seem, what would happen if AI were to write the Bible? So let's start with the first line. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Then God said, let the earth produce vegetation, fruit trees, fruit seeds, and the plants with seeds in them. Let them multiply and fill the earth with food. God gave the fruit of the earth to every animal, every bird, and every creature that lives on the earth. The trees of the earth produce... All right, so, pretty straightforward. It just sounds like what would be in the Bible. So let's now also make it have to include balloon. What was it? Cat and alien? I don't know if it'll do it, but let's try that now. Okay, so in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He set the sky upon the seas. In the heavens he set the sun, and the sun gave light to the earth, and the sun gave light to the skies, the clouds, and the rain. He set the rainbow upon the sky, and when the sun breaks, it shines around the earth and all around. And the sun gave light to the night, the stars, the shadow, the darkness, the flames, and to the fish in the water. They didn't use any of these words. What the heck? What? I'm upset. Why did it not include balloon, cat, or alien? Let me see if it, maybe it's planning to add them in later. Let me see. The Lord of the night, the Lord of the moon, he set the wind and the clouds to blow to the ends of the earth. Blown away. They're talking a lot about things blowing away. That would be the perfect place to put a balloon. No. All right, it's not working. There we go. Wait. It did it. It plans ahead so that it tries to make sense of it. This is really interesting. In the beginning, God set the earth upon the clouds, the earth upon the sea. It was dark like a bottomless abyss, but the winds came forth from the sea and blew over the hills and the mountains. The winds and the clouds and the stars, they lifted up the sun and they lifted up the moon and lowered it. They lifted it up, and the moon, they lowered it again. It was like a balloon that is suspended between the clouds. It worked that in pretty well. I want to see if it will do cat or alien. Let me just make it keep generating. And the day broke forth upon the heaven like a balloon in the middle of the sky. It does it pretty well. Then it was a cloud that had burst, like a balloon that had burst. All right, now let's just get obsessed with balloons. Oh, man. Wow. All right, no, it's really cooking now. So the sun set upon the clouds. Then it was like a cloud that had burst, like a balloon that had burst. It was like a spring of wind that came up from the mountains, like a little yellow balloon, like a cat that had disappeared in a balloon, like a candle that had dropped to the bottom of the sea, like a balloon that had floated away, an alien balloon, like a balloon that had risen from the top of the air. That was pretty, all right, so that's good. So, all right, I'm understanding this a little better. It has to set up some backstory, apparently. It has to prepare you. It has to set the stage. It has to set the mood to incorporate the balloons and the aliens and the cats. This was good. I like this. All right. Like a cat that had disappeared in a balloon. Like a balloon. An alien balloon that floated away. Really good. Okay, I like that. Let's try something else. What is Cosmo Kai says that was pretty good. It was pretty good. Like if you had to fit the word cat and balloon and alien in a Bible verse, it did a pretty good job. So let's see what else we can find. Oh, what about that? What about that verse where is it Job's daughters that sleep with him? So I think, isn't Job's, what verse is that? Does anyone know? If you have that verse memorized, I'm concerned about you. Let's do the verse where, well, is it Job? Or is it, no, I can't remember. No, it's not Job. It's, who was it with Sodom and Gomorrah? No, yes. Who is it that survives in Sodom and Gomorrah? It's, Lot. It's Lot's daughters, isn't it? Lot's daughters get him drunk and basically forcefully have sex with him. Do we want to? Part of me is like, that's so gross. I don't even want to do that. But I'm also a little bit curious. What verse is that? Hold on, let me see. Let's see what verse this is. Lot's daughters. Yeah, so Genesis 19:35. By the way, isn't that fucked up? That the Bible has all this insanity in here and people, I don't know. Anyway. By the way, if you're new to my channel and you don't know why the hell I'm doing this, one, because it's funny. but two, because I grew up in a strict religious household and I suffer from religious trauma syndrome, which, basically when you teach your kids religion, it can result in religious trauma syndrome, which is mimics the effects of PTSD and CPTSD. It's a really fucked up thing to do to your kids. So I like to spread awareness about it. I like to spread how religion is mental child abuse. And I like to highlight how disgusting the Bible is. So let's look this up. And oops, what was it? Genesis 19. Just look up Genesis 19. Was it Genesis 19:35? And then maybe we'll do a more lighthearted one, since this is kind of awful. So Genesis 19:35. Yeah. All right, so if anyone has not heard this story. So Lot and his two daughters left Zoar and settled in the mountains, for he was afraid to stay in Zoar. He and his two daughters lived in a cave. Get ready for some, Pornhub. Oh man, YouTube's going to get mad at me for saying that word. Storyline here. I'm stuck in the rocks, stepfather. All right, but it's not even, it's just pure, it's bad. So, okay. He and his two daughters lived in a cave. One day, the older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man around here to give us children, as is the custom all over the earth." It's the custom all, anyway. "Let's get our father to drink wine, and then sleep with him, and preserve our family line through our father." That night, they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and slept with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. So, not only do we have incest, but we have rape. And these are supposed to be righteous people, by the way. Like Lot is a righteous man of God. Anyway, so the next day, the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and then you go in and sleep with him so we can preserve our family line through our father." So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went in and slept with him. Again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son, blah, 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 blah. So, nothing about this being... Anyway, yeah, so that's a story in the Bible. Should we see, I don't know, should we see what the AI generates from this? I'm sort of morbidly curious, but I'm also a little bit terrified of what the AI will do with this. What do you guys think? Tell me in chat if we should see what AI does with this. We should make it include words like I'm going to say P instead of POR because YouTube will get mad at me. We should include like things from one of those really bad scenarios, like, and then the pizza guy came over. But anyway, Mark says it could be funny and it can't get worse. I hope that you're right that it can't get worse. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it'll be like, and then they all went and went fishing and had a good time. Let's see. So let's try this. Let's just do it. Let's see what happens. You guys are all telling me to do this. See, so now I can blame you. I have removed responsibility from myself and placed it upon you, chat. You have told me to do this. I am no longer responsible. This is on you for whatever is about to occur. Oh, let's remove balloon, cat, and alien from this. Let's not have that in there. Let's just put it down to dialectic experience. All right, so let's try this. Remember, we have set it up. We've put in here that Lot and his two daughters live in a cave. His daughters got him drunk, and they slept with him. So let's see how it continues. That night, they got their father to drink wine again. Again, the younger daughter went in and slept with him. And again, he was not aware of it. This thing is good. This seems like this. I would not blink twice if I had never read the Bible before and it continued like this. The next night, the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and you go in and sleep with him so we can preserve our family line through our father." What the hell? This is just like Groundhog Day. They're just going to keep fucking him. Okay, well, I'm morbidly curious to see if they just keep doing this over and over. Let me see. That night, they got their father to drink wine again. Again, the younger daughter went in and slept with him. And again, he wasn't aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. That night, the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight. And you go in and sleep." That's just the whole Bible. It's just, the whole Bible is just going to be Lot's daughters getting him drunk every single night. So I feel like it's just going to keep looping, but I'm curious if any, I'm going to have it keep going because I'm curious if it's going to do anything more. That night, the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight. And you go in and sleep." Okay. Oh my God. All right. I'm not going to keep reading this. Let me just make it do a lot. And I'm just going to see if it, let me just see. Let's see if it just keeps doing it. Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again. And you go in. Oh, it changed. The older daughter went into her father and kissed him and said, "Father, please drink the wine and eat the meat and preserve our family line through our father." That night, they went up to their father and drank the wine. The father went to bed, and I don't know where this is going. At midnight, the younger daughter went in to her father and kissed him and said, "Father, please drink the wine and eat the meat and preserve our family line through our father." And, all right, I don't know if I want to... I'm curious, though. At midnight, the younger daughter went into her father and kissed him and said, "Father, please..." All right, this is enough. All right, this is enough of this. This is the AI has just become way too pervy, and we're just stuck in a loop of this. So let's pick a different verse. Tell me, pick another verse because I want to get this memory out of my head. So, let's do another one. Make them drink wine and smoke weed next time. That's crazy, isn't it, though? It's just because this is just something that's in the Bible. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff in Revelations, but Revelations is so crazy unto itself. Let me check here. By the way, there is a great website called the Skeptic's Annotated Bible. If none of you have ever... I have so many windows up. It's ridiculous how many windows up I have to live stream, and it's ridiculous to manage. Ooh, I know. I have a good one. Did you guys know that there's a talking donkey in the Bible? Like Shrek. Let's do that verse. Can you imagine in the future people are going to make religions about Shrek? It's going to be... Okay, so Numbers 22, 31, 39. Numbers 20. Let's just do Numbers 20. Okay, let's look this up. Numbers 22. That's a nice boulder. All right. So we're talking about someone named Balaam. Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the Moabite officials. But God was very angry when he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the road to oppose him. Balaam was riding on his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand, it turned off the road into a field. Balaam beat it to get it back on the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path through the vineyards with walls on both sides. So they're kind of going down a corridor. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it pressed close to the wall, crushing Balaam's foot against it. So he beat the donkey again. Then the angel, isn't that crazy? This is just so crazy. Like we might as well be reading Hansel and Gretel or something, but people believe this. Then the angel of the Lord moved on ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no room to turn, either to the right or to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it lay down under Balaam so that they wouldn't go forward. And he was angry and beat it with his staff. Then the Lord opened the donkey's mouth, and it said to Balaam, "What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times?" Balaam answered the donkey. Also, isn't this funny? Balaam's not surprised. He's not like, "Oh, this is surprising to me that my donkey is talking." Balaam simply answered the donkey, "You've made a fool of me. If I only had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now." The donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your own donkey, which you've always ridden to this day? Have I been in the habit of doing this to you?" "No," he said. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. So he bowed and fell face down. The angel of the Lord asked him, "Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? I have come here to oppose you, because your path is a reckless one before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had not turned away, I would certainly have killed you by now. But I would have spared it." Wouldn't have killed the donkey. What happens here? Does the donkey talk anymore? Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned. I didn't realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now, if you are displeased, I will go back." The angel said, "Go with the men, but speak only what I tell you." I think we're done with the donkey arc. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So that's the donkey. The donkey is done with this part of the story. So. Oh, hey, Paul Cherry. Thank you for that super chat. I'll read that later. Let's see what the AI does with this one. Isn't this ridiculous? This story is more ridiculous than some of the things that the AI has generated. This is like including cat and balloon. This could totally have been if someone just wrote, Balaam got up in the morning and someone was like, let's put in the word donkey and make it talk and see what happens. I don't know. It's just so stupid. So let's see. Where should we do this? Let's just do the whole story up until okay, we'll do the whole story up until where it says, the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your own donkey, which you have always ridden to this day? Have I been in the habit of doing this to you?" Let's see. The donkey went on to say to Balaam, "Would you have no mercy on your own donkey?" When Balaam heard the voice of the donkey, he turned to it and said, "What is it that you are asking me, you worthless donkey?" Then the angel of the Lord stood in the doorway, holding the sword in his hand. He was standing with the sword in his hand until the donkey made its request. When Balaam heard the voice of the donkey, he knew that the devil had commanded the donkey to go to the city and lay down, and he was afraid to go with God. Balaam, however, trusted God completely, and he went forward with the donkey. When Balaam saw the angel standing in the doorway, he called to him, "God, why are you standing there with the sword in your hand? Why do you want to go with God?" the angel of the Lord asked him. "I must go with God or I shall die," Balaam replied. The angel of the Lord turned the donkey's mouth aside with a sword. Balaam beat the donkey with the heel of his hand, but it would not yield. So Balaam struck the donkey with his staff, and it kicked out the angel of the Lord, and he was thrown on the ground. When Balaam saw the angel of the Lord lying on the ground, this donkey's about to kick the shit out of this angel, he knew that God had turned his donkey against him. "Son of Israel, God is angry, and you have no mercy on God's donkey, which is a stone, because you struck it with a stick." God struck Balaam with the sword of his mouth and killed him. The donkey, however, lay down and went to rest. When Balaam was dead, the angel of the Lord put a sword in his mouth and made his mouth close. He was afraid that his master's heart would be afraid when it saw the angel of the Lord lying dead in the doorway. The angel of the Lord went back to the donkey, rolled him up in a cloth, and took him out of the city. He brought him into the wilderness. The donkey made a loud sound. Balaam was afraid that God would hear the sound. And it would take God's servants to God's camp to make the disciples speak of the evil which God had done against the servant of God. When Balaam heard, I guess Balaam's alive now. When Balaam heard the sound of the donkey, he cried out, "Who has made the donkey make this sound?" All right, this is enough. Enough with this. What's just so funny about this to me is that it's ridiculous and hilarious, but it's not that far off from how ridiculous. It's not that far off from how ridiculous this story already is. Let's get some words to include with this. Let's get some. What should we do? Let's just look up. I'm trying to find. Give me a good story with Jesus. Let's do one with Jesus. What's a good one to do? What should we do? All right, how about this one? Let's start, because we started with Genesis, right? Like just in the beginning, and then we saw what happened. Let's just do one beginning with Jesus. Let's do the beginning of the story of Jesus, okay? So this is... At the time, Jesus came from Nazareth in Galilee and was baptized by John in the Jordan. Just as Jesus was coming up out of the water, he saw heaven being torn open and the Spirit descending on him like a dove, and a voice came from heaven saying, "You are my Son whom I love. With you I am well pleased." So this is just sort of the beginning of the story of Jesus. Give me some words. I want 3 words again to make the AI include in this, and we'll see what it does. So I'm looking for 3 words. Let me turn chat on here. 3 words that we can put in here. cookie, LSD, mushroom. I think there's a theme, you guys. Pineapple. Gandalf the White. Should I put Gandalf? You know what? I'm really curious if we can get the AI to make Jesus and Gandalf fight. Hold on. Let's pause for a moment. Someone give me a good couple sentences about like a confrontation between Jesus and Gandalf. But make it sound, you know, biblical. Because I really want to see who will win. Because Gandalf beat the Balrog. That's pretty good. And Gandalf came back from the dead. Jesus also came back from the dead, but did not fight a Balrog. So it would seem Gandalf might be more powerful, because Gandalf resurrected, but also killed a Balrog in the process. Jesus did not kill a Balrog. So I want to see who would win in the fight. Aura Love says South Park already did that. Did they really? Did they? I don't watch South Park that much. They did a Gandalf versus Jesus. Let's just see. So at the time, Jesus came from Nazareth in Galilee. So, okay, let's keep that. At the time, Jesus came from Nazareth in Galilee and was approached, let's see, by Gandalf the White. Let's see. Gandalf said, "You shall not pass," and struck Jesus on the face. What should Jesus do? Jesus began to levitate, and thus began the great battle between Jesus of Nazareth and Gandalf the White. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see. This better be good. Jenna, whoa, what the heck? It's just listing names. Jenna, Wad, Mikey, Casey, Kylie. What the fuck? It's just listing names. Why is it listing lots of names? I worked hard on that setup. No! No! Come back! Oh, I can hit... Okay, good. I didn't lose it. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. I didn't put it on screen. I accidentally deleted everything I saw. I accidentally deleted everything, but I hit undo. And luckily there's an undo button. Well, what the fuck? Okay. Let's try this. Maybe if I push it again. Let's try it again. Okay. Jesus began to levitate, and thus began the great battle between Jesus of Nazareth and Gandalf the White. Gandalf struck Jesus of Nazareth at that time. Gandalf struck Jesus of Nazareth. Why is this breaking it? At that time, Gandalf struck Jesus of Nazareth in the face, but Jesus of Nazareth was unscathed. And Gandalf struck Jesus with a sharp blow to the face. Gandalf hit... They're just making Gandalf... And Jesus became extremely frightened. Jesus struck Gandalf with a sharp blow. Gandalf struck... They're just fucking punching each other. Well, I was expecting... They're just punching each other. I don't know what happened to this AI, but it's just making them punch each other over and over, and Jesus just is becoming more and more frightened. Give me 3 words then that we can... Okay, I'm gonna... between Jesus and Gandalf. At that time, Jesus came from... Now there's Gandalf. Okay, let's include some words that will make them like, okay, let's put some weapons in here. Or, let's see, what can we equip them with? Pistol? Okay, sure. Let's put in pistol. Chainsaw. I would love to do lightning bolt, but it has to be only one word. Lightsaber? Oh man, we should add Obi-Wan Kenobi to this mix. Who would win? Obi-Wan? Because Obi-Wan kind of came back from the dead too when he killed Vader. Obi-Wan killed Vader. Gandalf killed a Balrog. Jesus didn't do shit. He just gave people some fish. All right, let's try this. So we've included pistol, chainsaw, and lightsaber. So at the time, Jesus from Nazareth in Galilee was approached by Gandalf. Gandalf said, "You shall not pass," and struck Jesus on the face. Jesus began to levitate, and thus began the great battle between Jesus and Gandalf. Gandalf showed Jesus to his own staff and put his own belt on Jesus. The belt contained the stars of Nimrod. The fight lasted for 24 hours. Gandalf left Jesus chained to the gate of his house with 3 chains and daggers in his hands. A cold hand reached out from under the door. It was Judas. Oh shit. Shit's getting real. Judas came in and said, I can untie you, but you will have to run away with me, your mother, and your dad, as I take you to the priests. Judas tied Jesus with the 3 chains and walked him through the town. Eventually he arrived in the house of a priest, which was a house where many women took shelter. The young Jesus was going in and out of consciousness. He wasn't eating or drinking. Some of the ladies took pity on him and gave him a piece of fruit. This is really exciting. Jesus sat at the table and ate the fruit himself. Judas thought Jesus was giving him back the money. He was angry and shouted, "What a surprise! He would never do that. Oh no." A pistol was thrown at Jesus from the balcony. The pistol was a pistol that belonged to Gandalf. Gandalf said, "If Jesus would not play my game, I would shoot him." At that moment, Jesus felt his lightsaber. Oh, it's really funny. Hold on a moment. I'm just picturing this, and it's really funny. At that moment, Jesus felt his lightsaber in his hand and aimed it at the pistol and shot it. Judas fell to the ground, screaming in pain, and screamed, "Oh no, my skin! I have been shot." Gandalf spoke through Jesus' mouth. "It is not really me who shot you. It is Jesus, who is a Jedi, and you are a Sith. Kill him." This is the best thing I have ever read. Jesus stabbed Judas with a dagger and whispered, "You will never see your mother again. Now finish your enemies." Then Jesus shot Judas in the head with a pistol. Judas fell to the ground. His skin was changed into a white leather jacket, and his body was changed into a chainsaw. The chainsaw was made by Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. Then Gandalf pulled the chainsaw off Jesus and held it tightly in his hand. Gandalf said, "You are not dead, because I have taken your sword, Jesus. which was never in any of the stories that I told you. Then Gandalf smiled and said, "It is time for me to rest. I will be back soon." I think that's the perfect way to end that story. That was actually phenomenal. That was amazing. I loved everything about that story. I am going to copy this story and save it because that was beautiful. I'm saving this story. This has been saved. Douglas, that was great, better than the Bible. It was fucking awesome. You had where the fuck? I didn't expect Judas to come popping out from what was like under a door or something. You had Gandalf come in. I didn't fucking Obi-Wan showed up and Judas was a Sith Lord. Judas was a fucking Sith Lord. So good. I think it's so funny to me because the Bible is just as silly as Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, but people take the Bible seriously, and seeing it all come together is just beautiful. I don't think we can do any more here. Maybe we'll continue this sometime because Gandalf smiled and said, "It is time for me to rest. I will be back soon." If you want to see, a video where we continue this and see what happens when Gandalf returns instead of Return of the Jedi, Return of Gandalf, maybe he'll be constructing the Death Star. I don't know. Anyway, we should have the Death Star versus God. So many possibilities. I think we should end this on a high note. This is where we're going to end this here, but we're still going to do, I'm not going to leave the live stream, but for the replay, if you guys like this, let me know. Tell me in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you have more ideas for things like this, more things we can do, more ideas, let me know. This is a lot of fun. If you guys like this stuff, tell me if you do in the comments, because it helps me know what to do, but I enjoy this stuff. I think it's a lot of fun. If you enjoy my work, please consider supporting on Patreon. It helps out a lot. The link will pop up right over here, and you'll get access to our weekly secret live streams. We're having one right after this, our hidden Discord server, the Citadel, and a lot more. If you guys want to play with this more in the secret live stream, we will. So let me know. We'll play with this more in the secret live stream if you want. But anyway, if you enjoy my work, please consider supporting on Patreon. It really helps out a lot. Big shout out to Renaissance Fairy, Cassidy, Michael, Angela, Maria, Jordy, Top of the World, and Zach. You guys are all awesome. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it very much.